I stood near the punch table at my sister Madison's graduation party, quietly sipping from a cup and trying not to feel invisible. The whole event felt like a parade in her honor. Balloons, banners, even a photo wall with her face plastered across it. But what no one knew was that behind all that confetti was a story of betrayal, favoritism, and a secret that nearly cost me everything. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. Just 2 months earlier, I had been accepted into the university of my dreams. Full scholarship, academic honors, and a rare mentorship program that only took 2 students nationwide. I worked for it. I stayed up until 3 a.m. every night since junior year, took jobs tutoring kids, cleaned bathrooms at the local diner to pay for prep materials, all without my parents' help. But when I told them the news, expecting at least a proud smile, my dad's expression didn't budge. My mom pursed her lips. Then, with a tone that made my stomach sink, she said, "That would be better used on Madison. She deserves a future." I laughed. I actually laughed because I thought they were joking. They weren't. They wanted me to give my scholarship spot to Madison, who had been rejected from every major college she applied to and barely scraped through community college with her attendance. I tried to explain to them that scholarships don't work that way, that it was mine, tied to my application, my merit. My dad's response? "Don't be selfish. You wouldn't even be smart if it weren't for the house we gave you to live in." I walked away, locked myself in my room, and cried silently. But they wouldn't drop it. They kept pushing, even emailing my school counselor to ask if there was a way to transfer the opportunity. It was humiliating. I stopped eating meals with them. I started packing slowly. Then came the graduation party. It was supposed to be Madison's big day, but it turned into a setup. While everyone was celebrating, my parents cornered me near the back patio. My dad hissed under his breath, "You've ruined your sister's future." My mom joined in. "Do you know how embarrassed we are? We told everyone Madison was going to that university." I tried to walk away. My mom grabbed my wrist. My dad slapped the drink out of my hand. I told them to back off. But Madison had noticed. She walked over, dramatically placing herself between me and them, and began crying. "You always make everything about you," she sobbed in front of a crowd. "I just wanted one day to feel like I mattered." Gasps, whispers, eyes on me. Before I could speak, my dad slapped me. In front of everyone. There was a gasp, then silence. And then, I smiled. Not because I wasn't hurting, I was. I felt like the wind had been knocked out of me, but because I had already made up my mind. I was done waiting for their approval. I was done being the disposable daughter. They didn't know it yet, but everything they celebrated that day, the decorations, the venue, even the speakers, had been partially paid for by me, through a business I had been quietly building for the past 2 years. They thought I was just tutoring. What I was really doing was investing. And that campus they were dying for Madison to attend? Let's just say I had already made a phone call. They beat me at a party meant to humiliate me into surrender, but they had no idea what I was about to take back. The morning after the party, my cheek still stung from my father's slap. I stood in the mirror, staring at the light bruise blooming like a warning across my skin. I thought of all the times I'd stayed silent, all the events I let them ignore me in. Birthdays forgotten, achievements mocked. "She's just book smart," my mom used to laugh in front of relatives. "Doesn't know how to be a real woman like Madison." And Madison? She played it perfectly. The sweet, spoiled actress with a matching outfit for every excuse. But what they didn't know was this. I had stopped needing their validation the day I built my first app. Yes, an app. It started as a side project during sophomore year, built to help track scholarship deadlines for underprivileged students. Then it grew. I added AI functions, links to student housing, part-time jobs. I sold the concept to a rising edtech incubator for a small stake and kept equity in the platform. Quietly, over time, the value ballooned. When I graduated high school, I wasn't just valedictorian. I was the founder of a startup used by over 20,000 students. They didn't know because they never asked. And the irony? The university I got the scholarship from, the one they wanted to send Madison to in my place, had just finalized a new expansion project, a startup founder program, one I was invited to help lead, not as a student, as an investor. But I wanted to make this personal. I didn't want revenge in secret. I wanted them to feel it. So I dressed in all black, tied my hair back, and returned home with a smile they didn't trust. The house was silent when I walked in, until I heard Madison's voice echoing from the living room. "She's so dramatic," she groaned to my mother. "She got hit. Big deal. I'd get hit too if I were that selfish." I stepped in and said, calm as ice, "I'm transferring to the East Coast next week. Thought you'd like to know." My mother sneered. "Running away now?" I sat down across from her, number expanding. She frowned. "Expanding what?" "My company, and my ownership in the campus Madison thought she was going to." That got their attention. My dad stood up. "What the hell are you talking about?" I reached into my bag and slid the paperwork across the table. "Your daughter, me, just bought one of the buildings on that university's expansion strip. The name on the building? Mine. The program your little princess wanted to enter? I'll be reviewing applications for it." Madison's jaw dropped. My mother looked like she'd swallowed glass. "But you're just a tutor," Madison whispered. I let out a small laugh. "You never asked what I was building. Too busy building your fantasy life on my scholarship." My father reached for the papers. "You're bluffing." I showed them the photos, the ribbon cutting I'd be attending next week, the email with my name listed as honorary donor, the building plaque being engraved as we spoke. Silence. Then I said the one thing I had saved for years. "You could have been proud of me. Instead, you tried to replace me." My mother trembled. "So what? This is revenge." "No," I said, "this is a reminder. I don't owe you anything, especially not my success." They were speechless. For once, Madison wasn't the center of the universe. For once, I made sure they felt what it was like to be the afterthought. But I wasn't done yet. I had one last surprise saved. The day of the ribbon cutting arrived like a storm that had waited years to roll in. I stood on the stage in front of the new Student Innovation Building. Sleek glass walls, bold architecture, and a shining silver plaque near the entrance that read, "The Elise Quinn Center for First Gen Scholars." It was the name I'd registered my app company under, a name I chose to honor the grandmother who used to sneak me library books when I was little. She had believed in me long before anyone else did. The crowd was full of young students, faculty, reporters, and other donors. I smiled through every photo, shaking hands, hearing things like, "Such an inspiring story," and "It's rare to see someone so young lead a movement like this." But my eyes kept searching the back rows. I knew they'd come. I had made sure of it. See, a few weeks earlier, I had anonymously mailed an invite to my parents. The letter came with VIP passes, valet instructions, and a letter that simply said, "Come see what your mistake built." I wanted them to come, to see what they threw away, and they did. They arrived late, of course, just as the final speeches began. My mother wore her usual pearls and pity face. My father had on his stiff old suit, slightly faded at the edges. Madison trailed behind them, glued to her phone until she looked up and saw my face on a digital banner across the side of the building. She stopped walking. I stepped up to the microphone. I could feel the heat of their stares like sunlight through glass. "My name is Elise Quinn," I said, "and years ago I was told I didn't deserve the future I worked for, that I should hand it to someone more deserving." I looked directly at them. But today, I stand here not just with a degree. I stand here with a mission. This building will house programs to fund and empower students who've been overlooked, mocked, or told they were too ambitious to be worth supporting. It's for the ones who worked in silence and succeeded anyway. There was silence in the crowd, that quiet kind of awe that trembles in your chest. My mom looked pale. My dad clenched his jaw. Madison, for once, looked small. And then came the moment I had planned meticulously. I walked down from the podium and handed the ceremonial scissors to the dean beside me. As applause echoed through the quad, I leaned into the mic one last time. "Oh," I added with a smile, "to the family members who once thought I was too selfish to deserve my scholarship, I left something for you at reception." My mom looked confused. My dad looked suspicious. But they walked toward the reception table anyway. There, in front of the fruit tarts and champagne, was a manila envelope labeled "Return on Investment." Inside were photocopies of the scholarship documents they tried to transfer, rejection letters Madison never told them about, and, last but not least, a formal legal notice. I had officially removed them from my inheritance trust. I wasn't just showing them who I had become. I was cutting off any chance for them to benefit from it. They had sold my dignity for Madison's tuition. Now I had bought something bigger and made sure their names were nowhere near it. But the final twist? I approached Madison privately after the event. She stood alone near a flower arrangement, still processing everything. "You know," I said softly, "it didn't have to be this way." She blinked. "What do you mean?" "You could have had a role in this. You could have supported me. I tried for years." She looked down. "I just thought, they'd only love me if I outshined you." "That's the thing," I whispered. "They never loved either of us. Just their image." She looked stunned. Then I walked away, leaving her to unravel that truth, one tear at a time. And that was the moment. Not the speeches, not the applause, not the plaque or even the media buzz. The real closure came from walking away, not bitter, not broken, but brilliant, owning the room they once kicked me out of. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I simply built something they could never touch, and then made sure the view from their sidelines was clear. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.